Bilbo Baggins continues his journey with the wizard Gandalf and 13 dwarves on an epic quest to reclaim the Lonely Mountain and the Lost Dwarf Kingdom in The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
Hello, I'm Martin Freeman. You're watching Made in Hollywood. Here is a scene from The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
Truly, the tales and songs fall utterly short of your enormity, O Smaug, the stupendous.
For the first film, we talked a lot about how Bilbo is an innocent whose life is changed forever when he goes on this journey.
Yes.
How would you describe him now in this film?
He's just a bit more fully rounded now. He's kind of more three-dimensional, to pardon the pun, and more experienced.
I'm trying to tell you, there is something else out there.
He's been through more stuff, and he's in possession of a magic ring, which allows him to be invisible. So yeah, I think his view of himself in the world has been able to change.
Yeah, and it can be a look up there for a moment.
Wow, okay.
You have no right to enter that mountain.
I have the only right.
I know we haven't really fully come to know your character Bard yet, but from
You
what we
will.
know about him right now, I like him. I think he's a good man. Why were you drawn to him?
Well, he's not all he makes out to be at the beginning of the film. You know, there's way more to Bard than meets the eye.
And then it's like suddenly there's a second guy that moves.
He ends up doing incredible things that you wouldn't expect from him at the beginning of his story.
It will not end here. With every victory, this evil will grow.
I love your character so much. I think that the wood elves are amazing. They're so graceful and swift, but they're also very strong and kind of deadly.
Yeah.
What drew you to Toriel?
I loved playing a character that was driven from her heart. She was driven by compassion. She was driven by a desire for justice and truth and all that is right, and was fighting against ultimate evil.
I found something in the goblin tunnels.
Yeah, he's always kind of deciding whether to put it on or whether not to put it on or whether to share that knowledge with anybody else. And you know, the reason, of course, he doesn't put it on all the time is because when you do put the ring on, it takes something out of you. It's not a pleasant place to be.
What did you find? My courage. Good. You need it.
The one scene that I have to tell you I don't like, and it's only because it just totally freaks me out.
I know what you're going to say.
Did it freak you out too,
A little bit.
The spiders, right?
Yeah, the spiders are pretty scary.
Well, normally when you have a scene like that, back in the day, you would have tennis balls on sticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you guys had a different way of doing it. You actually had people, so you actually had targets. Does that make it easier
Well,
for you guys?
yeah, we have it's a mixture. It's a mixture of some people in a green costume with fangs coming at you, and sometimes tennis balls, and sometimes nothing. Sometimes there would just be things that you'd be chopping at the air with, you know. So it was a mixture of it, but no actual giant spiders.
There are moments where I just think Martin's acting with a model. It just is almost something you can touch, and it's kind of thrilling for me. I mean, obviously I worked on it a lot, and I did motion capture as well as voice work, but I can stand back and marvel at it because what the people at Weta did is just extraordinary.
Hearing what Benedict has done with the voice of the dragon, which really brings that intellect that I was talking about, and a real visceral sound to his voice, which is, you know, the embodiment of that creature is such a treat for me to see that.
His name is Bilbo. Thief. Where are you?
I wanted the animators to have this idea of what I thought the character was of this creature, so that they could then weave in whatever parts of me that they could to sort of anthropomorphize him, because he's got to be human. He speaks English, so there's a communication with a hobbit that's in English. So, you know, this mythical beast, this sort of animal there are very human elements to it.
Come now. Don't be shy. Step into the light.
How would you describe the set of Lake Town? What was it really like in person?
It was incredible. It was literally a town. There was no fake walls. It was all real. It was all wood.
So you're actually running through all those different
Yes,
alleys?
all those alleys really existed, and it was a huge set. It was on the King Kong stage in Wellington.
Each set genuinely amazed all the actors who had to work on it. They had just built these worlds around us, you know. And then, of course, when they couldn't build the world, they built the world in post-production digitally. So either way, the craftsmanship that was at work was stunning.
But like a kid in a bedroom, it just suddenly makes you go, oh right, this is about the imagination, and you take the first step, and then what I loved about the process is then what they, as a relay team, take from you and just explode. I mean, what they did, what they have done is phenomenal.
Actually, I came out of my first viewing thinking it's just not enough, because it does feel like you're watching more material than you can deal with, and it's interesting because a lot of people perceive that they are stretching the story to make 3 films, and they're not. They're actually having to cut so much stuff, and it feels very full and compact, and you know, there's a lot of momentum in this second movie.